Our story begins with the All-Father. He was the first thing to come to existence and the first thing to die in it. In an attempt to escape from his everlasting loneliness, he split himself in 6, dividing his powers so that he may never feel lonely again. Livathar, the god of balance, Vizian, the goddess of life, Ramur, the god of death, Trix, the goddess of mana, Gellerus, the god of time and space, and finally, Ophir, the god of creation and destruction. Together they traveled around the creations of their father, laughing, joking, and playing. Then, once upon a time, far from our own, they found something. A small world, a beautiful green world. Forests covered its surface, its vast ocean gently laying its water at rest upon the beaches. Among it was life. Small animals rustling in the forest bushes, fishes swimming in the warm ocean. A paradise like no other. It was the most precious amongst their father's treasure. For many hundred years these gods marveled upon the creation of their father, until one of them suggested an idea, to form something of their own to travel those green lands. The gods rejoiced at the idea, all but one, Ophir. Ophir wanted to preserve their father's creation. He wished not to meddle and to let it grow on its own. The other gods understood Ophir's reasoning, but still persist on having a creation of their own. So, behind Ophir's back, the 5 began their creation, a soul that could harvest the power of mana. They wanted to create a soul that could think on its own, do complicated things, and thrive with everything the father had given. This soul would have emotions, just like they do. And so they created an ancient, the first people to walk on the lands of Evalon. But Ophir soon found out what his brothers and sisters were doing. All too late, for the father's creation was now tainted. The purity of the world was gone. Ophir attempted to destroy that world, but the other 5 gods would not have it, and thus started a 10,000-year war between the gods. Ophir succeeded in his attempts, however, now eternally locked in a stone prison circling the cataclysm of his deed. That prison is what we now call our moon. During the battle, Livathar was grievously wounded and laid to rest within Evalon, underneath a blanket which we now know as the 3 Sister Mountains. The world that their father had managed to build life upon, now covered in stone, lifeless, dead. The 4 gods wept for what their brother had done, but mourning would change nothing. The gods were adamant to start the world anew, so with all his might, Gellerus sacrificed majority of his powers to isolate the now dead world to another dimension, and restore an echo of the world before the time of the ancients. That stone world is now where the souls of the damned go, their punishment in afterlife, the stone forest. The 4 gods wished to try anew, yet without their fallen brother there was no balance in their creation, and thus each brought forth their own. Vizian created the humans. Gellerus created the Fenris. Ramur created the Iris. And Trix created the elves. 4 races to wander the lands, guided by a remnant of old. The Oracle.